women in business. And today I have the beautiful Chenae Carey joining me.
Hi.
She is an intuitive business mentor, and I think I've known you for a couple of years now. And yeah, I can't wait to kind of get the behind the scenes on your business. Welcome.
Hi. I'm whilst you're sharing and talking and doing all the things, I'm setting up a little stream over to my Facebook page. So
On you.
I'll finish that off in just a second. But hi. Thanks for having me.
You can do it now. I love it. I love it. Sometimes people are like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And Chenae's just like, oh, and I'm doing a second stream that I didn't even tell you about.
Totally fine. Although it does look different and it's a bit shit because it looks like I can only share it personally at this point until I figure out what I'm doing. But I think I can work it. I'm just going to copy that little link. So yeah, I'm going to share it to my audience whilst your audience gets to watch it and maximize our reach with our awesomeness.
Amazing. And I love your work. I mean, we'll get further into it, but you know, it totally can be learning on the run. Totally can be learning on the run.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. So I'm going to hit you with our first question, my love.
Go for it. Yeah.
I would love for you to introduce yourself the way that you would love to hear other people talking about you, to hear your ideal clients talking about you. Yeah.
All right. I've been thinking about this because I knew that this question would come. All right. I'm live. It's streamed. It's done. Phone is over there. So one of the things that I would love for someone to describe me as would be like, I sit down with you, doesn't matter how, whether it's virtually or whatever, and I suck everything. Well, hang on, let me do it from their perspective. She sits down with me and she sucks everything out of my brain that makes no sense, that's overwhelming, that I want to get done and I don't really know how to do. And then she like lays it all out perfectly in a step-by-step plan so that I know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, what to not focus on, and how to make sure that I am on track so that the goals that I want to achieve actually get done. And then she throws me an odd like meditation practice and all these beautiful woo-woo things that are a bit weird and wonderful, but I enjoy them.
Ah, cool. I love that. And you, like, if I think of all my friends in business and all my colleagues in business, I really feel like you do have the best mix of such practical, like, for anyone who doesn't know Chenae, Facebook, this is what you need to do, strategy, step-by-step instructions, holding your hand, getting it done.
Yeah.
And then you've brought in the higher level strategy, but also the kind of intuitive.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It's nice to hear that echoed back. And it's not too dissimilar to how like I run my own business as well. Like it's I used to just be really practical, and that was all well and good until a certain point. And then I threw all of my toys out of the cot because it just wasn't fulfilling anymore. I was like, there's more to this. I don't want to just deal with, you know, what my background was and what I was doing when we first met, which was helping women with their Facebook marketing strategies. However, I've kind of come full circle and included all the things that I've learned. I am really good at business strategy. It's not something that it's just natural. It's just innate. But then I get to add in my intuitive work as well. So the intuitive business strategy is like a whole other level. It's like, here's all the things to do. Here's how you align your energy to make sure that you're not going to sabotage all of the efforts. And then we get this beautiful little like marrying of things. And it's like, if it had a sound effect, that would be it. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of my motivations for doing this series is to kind of see why people started their business in the first place, what it looked like when they started, what it looks like now. Can you paint a little bit of a journey for us?
Yeah, for sure. So way back in the day, I'm at 6.5 years of having a business, just to give some context, but way back 6.5 years ago, I had a full-time day job and I was just doing my business on the side, came out of a personal development workshop, and I was like, I want to help all these people who want to like have their own businesses and do all of this, but they don't know how to do it. I've got a super itchy nose, Anthea. It's just like, I'm just going to give it a good scratch and then it'll hopefully stop annoying me. All right. So all these people at this personal development workshop, which was about designing your ideal life, were like, oh, I want to do this and I want to, you know, quit corporate and do this, or I want to get out of this day job and pursue my passion, which, you know, could be my livelihood. And I'm like, I can help these people with this. So that's kind of how it all started way back in the day. And it was because I have, it's so cool how full circle it's come, right? I remember having this website page that had all of the services that I could help people with, right? So on there was Facebook stuff. And that was right before I met Tash Corbin and right before I started doing any work with her. And she was basically said, you need to get rid of all of these other things, pick one. And so that was my first kind of dipping my toe into the water of niching, right? I was like, I want to do all the things. Yeah. And now I get to do that to my clients and they get to have the tantrums. But yeah, it was really funny. That was the beginning. That didn't last long because Tash kind of nipped that in the bud really early on, and I'm so grateful. So then I kind of niched down into what I do is I help women who have their own businesses make the most out of Facebook without using paid ads, basically organic strategies, because back then things were a little bit different and you could get a decent amount of reach, whereas now we're finding things are a little bit different. So I did that for a number of years, built my business, grew my business, did really well, enjoyed myself. It was really great. And then I had a total like change of gears because I went and did some intuition work. And trained with the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence. And then that just was like that's when I threw all my toys out of the cot, because the work I was doing just wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I wanted some more depth and some soul to the work that I did. So I just kind of, instead of being really practical and just tapering it off and then bringing the next thing in, I just went, cut it off and then tried to do something else. Don't recommend that. Not fun, not enjoyable. That was not a good year. However, it worked out. It's okay. So I then did totally different, did intuition teaching. Decided that I wanted to teach what I had learned and the spiritual awakening that I had. That was really cool. And then I've kind of circled all the way back around to what I originally kind of had on that first ever website page, because I don't lead with all of the things that I can do, but what I do in my business is it's a big, broad scope of things. So it's not just that little niche of Facebook marketing, but if you work with me, you get the benefits of you know, social media strategy at that level. But then you also get things are intuitively guided, and then you get the benefits of that, and you can deepen into your spiritual and all of that kind of side of things. Yeah, there's so many words, but yeah. So it's been a few transitions, and as we know, we pivot and evolve. But this is the most right now doing and so intuitive business mentoring is if you were to give it a title, that's what I call myself at this point in time. This, as it stands now, is the most satisfied I've ever been in my business ever in that 6 and a bit years. So it's pretty exciting to be here in this space, because I thought I had it really good back then. And I'm like, I had no freaking idea. This is really great, actually. This is more of what I want, because it's encompassing all of the things, not just a piece. Yeah.
And then, you know, you're in your sweet spot, right? Because that's your nudge. And I remember seeing one of your posts after you'd been on the whole spiritual journey, done the big, this is what I'm doing now. And then you came back to the full 360 and you were like, I can do all of it. And I remember a whole bunch of us being like, yeah, of course, that's how we see you already. And you were like, oh.
I was the last person to that party, and I will never forget that, because everybody else was on board, and I was like, oh man. And that seems to be a bit of a pattern for me. I remember when I closed my Facebook content membership down back in the day, oh my God, I had this full-blown meltdown. I was in tears. It was half an hour before one of the monthly calls, and I'd had a total breakdown sitting on my snuggle couch. I was like, I just want to can this couch just swallow me up? And got on the call and told them that I had to close it. And they were like, yeah, we expected that. Girl, are you serious? I was the only one.
They already knew. Oh,
Oh
so
dear.
good. So good. And what about launching? Do you launch in your business at the moment? What's been your journey like with what has your journey been like with launching, if I can get my words out?
That's a really cool question, because it's changed a lot. Like, I did really formal and structured launches and did a lot of list building and whatnot in my early days when it was a very like 3D practical business.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, to fast forward without giving you all of the details, because we'll be here for 6 years if I do, nowadays my launches have the practical elements because that needs to happen, but also there's energetic work as well. So I will imagine, like, if I've got an ideal number, and I'll call those people in energetically by, you know, visualizing a circle of all of us, and each of those places are there and available and waiting. And I'll call those people in energetically by cultivating a feeling state within me that I want my clients to experience. So I'm becoming an energetic match for what I want for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing the visualization work. There's a guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about a lot of stuff, and he's got some consciousness encoding practices. So I do things like that.
Yeah.
Where you can take a symbol that means, like, that symbol is reflective of all of this stuff, which you can work out. And then in your meditation practice, you hold that symbol in your consciousness, and then that is what's encoding your reality, if you will, which is really cool. So my launches have gone from really 3D, really practical, and taken the practical elements into it, but also incorporated a lot of the stuff that I've learned from the energy work that I've done. So yeah.
Cool. And you teach launching in part of your strategy, like with your VIPs?
Yeah, so I've got a VIP at the moment who I've just taken through. She's done her first launch of a new thing that she created, a little 4-part online program, and we mapped out her whole launch together, practical and energetic, did all of that, and she filled all 10 spots, which was really amazing. So she closed the doors on the Friday. Cart closed, and then they were starting on the Monday, and she had, I think, 8 of the spots filled. And then over the weekend, look, she flexed a little bit, but she allowed, because there was space, 2 more inquiries came through, and she filled the 10 spots, which was her original intention, which was absolutely amazing. She was stoked with that outcome. And what we did in the lead up to the cart closing in the launch dead zone, which we're all familiar with, which just can be a little uncomfortable, is we doubled down on her energy work. She's like, there's no more strategy that I can do. I've ticked all the boxes. Yeah. Now we need to visualize calling these people in. And she had this really beautiful visualization that came from the initial energy session that we did together, this beautiful tree. And it was just incredible. And the detail that she explains in this visualization is so clear. And I think that there's a real correlation between the clarity in what she was visualizing and the success and the outcome and the result that she got. So yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Cool. And at the end, if anyone's interested or has any questions for Chenae, please drop them in the comment box, either here with us live or #replay, because we would love to chat to you about this.
Yeah.
And at the end, we'll obviously share some of Chenae's kind of services, free and promo. So another thing that I like to do is help people model out easy bits. So do you have any go-tos in your business in launching that, you know, if you do those things, it will make your business and your launching easier?
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't done some of these in more recent times because what I've been launching has been a little different. But when I look back, one of the things that has always worked for me is doing a little lead magnet, a taste test. So the equivalent of that I'm doing now is I'm doing some in-person workshops at the moment, because we are very blessed where I am right here, right now in Brisbane, in Queensland, that we are not restricted in terms of where we can and can't go, which is not the case for everybody. But I've been doing some in-person workshops because I've realized that, like, a lot of what's been happening has been separating us, and we feel disconnected from not only ourselves but one another. So I've added a little bit of extra in-person stuff in, because I feel like if you can, I think you should.
Absolutely.
So I've been doing lead magnets in a sense where instead of doing a little like mini event in person free, that's a taste test of that, like you would do with a webinar is a lead magnet in a launch. I've been doing little mini masterclasses once a week. So I'll get on a Facebook Live so that people can still benefit from it, even if they're not in that local proximity to me and there's no chance of them attending. And I'll do that. And I'm consistently doing that on a weekly basis, making sure that's available to my audience and talking about the very thing that the workshop is about. And I think that lead magnets, as the logical step before the thing that you're selling, hands down is a strategy that I honestly believe you're mad if you don't implement it. Like, why would you not, right? It works so well. And that's based on my experience. But I've also seen it happen really nicely with some clients as well.
It's so funny that you say that, because that's been, one of my experiences just this week when I was talking to one of my coaches, and I feel like I missed out on that logical step before some of my things. I mean, I've had bits and pieces work over the time, but I was like, I don't think, but I think I've nailed it now. So yes, the logical first step is a good place to go.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about challenges in your business or in launching? Probably just in your business. Like, what are your go-tos in challenges? And they can be practical, strategic, mindset, energetic. I don't care. What are your go-tos?
My absolute non-negotiable is a daily brain dump or thereabouts. This is my little $4 pad from Kmart, which just literally just has a random piece of paper hiding in it. Oh, that's interesting. That's got to do, now, and later. It's not sexy, it's not complicated, it's not digital, but it works because I notice that all the things in my brain that need to be done just come all at once, or I need that. That's a non-negotiable. And what I'll do is I'll get that satisfaction of crossing things off, and that competitive part of me, knowing that that really works for me. Slightly embarrassing, but it's true. So I'm just learning to own it.
Yeah.
Crossing things off really, really works for me. But another thing, we're talking about challenges. Are we talking about?
No, go to in challenging times.
Go to in challenging times. Okay. Yeah. I was like, hang on, I think I've missed. No. Okay. Go to in challenging.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Brain dump when you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to get everything out so that you can set up your day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So simple, but so good. One of the other things is if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to do this. I'm busy. I've got shit to do. I've got to make up for this. That's the Chinese proverb, I think it is, like, everyone should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless, of course, you're busy. Then you should meditate for an hour. And it's so good, right? I think I don't know if I've gotten that right or if I've butchered it, but the sentiment is there, right? Yeah. So when I'm in those challenging times, I know I need to lean in, not lean out, because the default for most of us is to lean out, to eat the shit, to do all the things. So I'll make sure that I absolutely get to my yoga classes, that I'm eating well, that I'm doing all the things, and that my meditation practice doesn't slip. And am I perfect at that? No way. But I'm the best I've ever been at it, which is something that I'm really happy with. Like, pursuit of perfection is just not going to cut it for me, but being the best I've ever been, I'm happy with that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I have lots of discussions with my women in business about your mindset doesn't have to be perfect either. Like, sometimes they do one of my hypnosis audios and they're like, but it was a bit crap because my kid interrupted me and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, a shonky hypnosis audio is still better than no hypnosis audio. It doesn't have to feel blissful every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes they're the best ones. Like, the practices and stuff where things don't go right are actually the most transformational for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So do you have anyone on your hit list that you would like me to interview about the behind the scenes in their business?
That's a really good question. I was thinking about this as well. And I'm like, Anthea, I don't remember and know everybody that you've interviewed. So I'm like, I'm not sure. I might have said somebody that you might have already interviewed. I love learning from people who I find are aspirational. So for me, it's people that are a step ahead, are in the next income bracket, or outsourcing in a way that's beyond what I'm at, or they've learned how to bring other people into their business that do what they do, because I'm not quite there yet. Kind of like the Mike Michalowicz, the Profit First guy. He's got a lot of similar like archetypes in some money profiling that I've done recently to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't have specific names, but people who have learned to delegate the things that only they are currently doing.
Yep.
That excites me a lot. So will you get Mike Michalowicz? Maybe not. But, like the DDTs of the world and those people who are nailing it, right? That's what I want to kind of hear about, and the people that I want to hear from, because that I find that's motivating for me. It's like
inspiration.
Yeah. Sure. And it gets me thinking about how I can do things differently, because one of the things that I know to be true about me, and probably many of us, is that I limit my own self because I don't see outside of my own limited perspective. And so when I hear how people do things differently, it can kind of broaden my perspective a little bit. And that I don't think we can ever get enough of that, or too much of that. Yeah.
Totally. And I feel like that's another reason why I do this. It's showing everyone how imperfect the science is, but then inspiring you to model the good bits, right? So for sure.
Yeah.
If you think of anyone, make sure you send me a message. And same goes for anyone who's listening to us, with us. If you think of anyone you'd like to get the behind the scenes on in their business, please hit me up, because I would love to approach them for you.
Actually, do you know what? Any Virgos, just blanket. All the Virgos, like the Laura Dix, the Claire Riley.
I've got Laura Dix coming up. I'm pretty sure I hit Claire Riley up. Maybe we've scheduled in, and I'll have to check her.
Claire and I we're just basically the same person. So she's probably done what I did and scheduled it for like 6 years from now. Oh shit, that's funny. But yeah, all the Virgos that just really nail, that excites me too. So
cool.
Virgos. That'll be cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And thanks so much for sharing all your beautiful wisdom today. As you know, I would love for my audience to connect with your audience. What are your free and paid ways that you've got happening at the moment?
Lots of things. So free would definitely be, if you're a bit interested in, because there's lots of people who do the strategy stuff, right? And I think what sets me apart is a little bit of energy work, a little bit of strategy combined. So to get a little taste test of what that looks like, I would say go to Insight Timer, because I have like 20 something, an insane number of pre-recorded like meditations, visualizations, practices, anywhere from 3 minutes is the shortest one up to 20 minutes on there, all for small business owners, sole traders, solopreneurs, all of the peeps that are like us. That's definitely the place to go for free stuff, and leave me a little comment and let me know that you've actually listened, and circle back and say, if you've watched us here live, I learned about you, found you, whatever, through Anthea. That would be really cool, because you can do that at the end of the track once you've listened.
Oh, thank you. Cool.
Yeah, so they give you an option to leave a little review. So 5 stars, of course, right? But also you can leave a little comment with it, kind of like you do on a Facebook review. It's kind of cool. Like it's got that level of connection, and that someone's just listened to that meditation, because it connects to what meditation it is, because that's the one that they review, which is really cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a free meditation app. They do have a free option, a paid option. I don't even use the paid option. I'm a teacher on there, and I don't use the paid one. So I definitely go there for
a link in the comments as well.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely do that. So that's definitely the best place to go for a little taste test of that sort of stuff. In terms of paid things, we talked about my VIP stuff a little bit earlier and how we mapped out that big old launch. I will provide the link and pop that in as well. But if you go to chenaecarey.com/accelerate, spelling my name right is the first challenge for most, but if you go to chenaecarey.com/accelerate, you'll see what my bespoke packages are like.
Amazing.
And then there's all sorts of other things in there. So there's smaller things where you can attend a little event here locally, or you can come and do a single session, things like that as well. So there's a variety of things. I've got a mastermind. There's a variety, right? Multi-passionate, lots of different things. But
and if you get stuck, just hit Chenae up. I'm sure.
Yeah. Send me a message. We can do a discovery call, and you can say, here are all the things that I want, and I can say, here are the things that will help you get that. It's like, I imagine it as like a discovery call in my imagination is like those guys in Bali who just like open up their jackets and they've got all of the watches and shit down the sides. That's what it feels like. It's like, here are all my things. Like, here are the things that I can help you with. Yeah. Weirdest visual, but it's so ingrained in me because of all the time I've spent in Bali. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much the same.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. I was showing my little Nola, she's 5, a globe, like a world globe yesterday, and she's getting really into it. Like, this is Australia, this is Queensland, we're in lockdown, they're not, you know. And then I showed her Bali because she went there when she was 1, and I was like, and you've been to a different country, which is just like unimaginable these days. I'm like, when is she going to get to another country? Oh dear.
Fingers crossed it sooner rather than later. I'm holding the intention.
Yeah, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah.
No, all good. Thank you so much, lovely. It's been
my pleasure.
So awesome to chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're catching us on the replay, please let us know that you've listened, and we'd love to have a chat to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.